Hey everybody. Spirituality and cannabis. Whoa, big topic, huge topic. I got 5 minutes. I'm not going to be able to pull it off in 5 minutes, so I'll just give you my quick understanding. How do I define spirituality? Well, I would define spirituality as the the outworking of the interior self and how the interior affects the exterior. That is, how do my thoughts, my feelings, my perceptions, my understandings, my my actions, how do they come? How do I understand them? And then once I understand them, how do I put them into practice? I believe that consciousness exists apart from the brain. I don't believe that the brain generates consciousness. I believe that the brain picks up consciousness like a radio picks up radio waves. I believe that it's like a tuner. It's like some sort of an amplifier. Consciousness is perceived and then through the brain, that consciousness, that spirit, that mind operates in a three-dimensional world. So, in this three-dimensional self, in this three-dimensional being, right? This body of flesh and bone. So the consciousness operates through the brain. The brain controls what's happening in the physical. So how do those perceptions, those ideas, the things that are happening on the interior, how do those things affect what interact with, relate to, etc., what's happening on the exterior? So for me, that's what spirituality is. How does my internal self relate to the external world? Okay. So when I introduce cannabis into that, cannabis operates like a a learning tool for the consciousness. So the consciousness is perceived, it operates in this three-dimensional world. There's this plant that exists here, and we can take that plant, we can consume it, and it allows us to perceive things in a different way. It allows us to understand things in a different way, and we can learn from that. We feel, we understand, we perceive all these things differently when cannabis is in action versus when cannabis is not in action. So when cannabis is in action, it will allow you, like I said, to think and feel and operate in a different way. So it's important, I think, at that point when cannabis is in action to be very aware of what's happening on the interior and how those new perceptions and new ideas and new understandings are operating in the exterior. How are you manifesting those new ideas, thoughts, feelings, and emotions, etc.? So you can compare and then learn from that as well. So you can compare, number one, how you think, feel, operate, perceive when cannabis is not in action versus how you think, act, perceive, emote when cannabis is in action. Then if you take the two, you can compare them and say, well, I was like this without the cannabis, I was like this with the cannabis. What's happening here? Where's the divide? Why is there a divide? And how can I bridge the gap? How how can I find that place that says how I am when cannabis is not in action versus when it is, and how can I find the best possible expression and apply that to my interior self, my thinking, my feeling, the 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 mind, the head heart connection, and express that in the world around me, allowing my spirituality to be something that is projected outward, because what we do, what we think, how we act, how we behave affects not only us, but it's like throwing a pebble in a pond, and it radiates outward, and it affects, those concentric circles just expand and affect everything around us. So how do I find the best possible expression? How do I dig into that as a means of spiritual growth? It's a comparison. I'm already over my 5 minutes. I could go on. I got to stop it. But so a tool for learning of the consciousness, a new means of expression, a comparison between with and without, and where's the best, uh, where's the meeting point, where's the best point that those things come together and can be expressed outward to make things in this world better. Thanks. I'm gonna leave it there. I'm at 7 minutes. We'll see you. Bye.